Hey guys, it's your girl Rach for Real, and I'm back with another video. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and all that jazz because guys, I have a very juicy video for y'all today. And when I say juice, I mean like a healthy smoothie. I'm not here to air anybody out or be like so-and-so did X, Y, and Z. It's more for your nourishment. So it's tea, but it's tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they'll get it. So basically, today we're going to talk about forgiveness, and I'm going to get right into it, talking about 3 instances where forgiveness was really, really important to me. Then at the end, I have a special surprise for you guys, so make sure you stay tuned and don't skip to the end and see what the surprise is. Stay tuned. Play by the rules, guys. Play by the rules. So the first time that I really had to forgive was with my dad. That's where a lot of us have to start, to be honest, because daddy issues are real. They're a real thing, and I think mommy issues are real as well. The truth is, our parents are our first relationship. No one was given a manual, and they were just individuals who one day became a mother or one day became a father because a baby was born. You know, I think that my experience with forgiving my father really taught me mercy, and just taught me that he was an individual who was still dealing with the trials of his life before he became a parent. And so for those of you who may not know, my dad did struggle with a drug addiction, and he passed away when I was 15. I was very young when he was struggling with that, and I really did not hold it against him. But as I got older, I did have to let him know that I forgave him because, to be honest, he held all of that guilt for years, and I could just see how it strained him in our relationship, just feeling like he had to do things to make it up to me, or just to he just felt bad about himself, and you could tell. I actually verbally told my dad that I forgave him just months before he passed away. So forgiveness is very, very personal to me, because if I hadn't forgiven him, I think that there would just be a lot more of a struggle when he died, knowing that I no longer can tell him that I forgive him, and I don't look at his faults and I don't hold them against him anymore. We sat down like on a regular Sunday and we went out to eat, and basically I just told him like, Dad, I forgive you for, you know, XYZ, and he did not touch his food. Like, I was literally sitting across from him, and he like had the fork, and then he would like put it down, and I'm like, what's going on? But he was just so like touched and moved and impacted by the fact that like it's like I had taken time off of his sentence of life, if you think about it like that, or if I had forgiven his debt. It just was like, what? Like, he was so shocked, and I didn't know how important it was to him to know that I had forgiven him and that I didn't hold that against him. And so I just think that forgiveness played a huge role in the rest of our relationship, and I'm just grateful that I didn't wait a year, or I didn't, you know, let my pride get in the way or my emotions get in the way. And I'm glad that we were able to have that moment. And I actually had a similar moment with an ex of mine. And okay, I'm just gonna give a disclaimer because I recorded this twice already, guys, and I get very emotional and just kind of, I struggle with this one because this particular ex passed away last year, and with my dad, I've had about 5 years to cope with it, but this is a very fresh wound, so it's hard to get through, but I'm gonna try for you guys because it was so impactful. It really helped me. So long story short, me and this particular ex had met in middle school, and he was like the bad boy and I was the goody goody. Like, I was so into my classes, like I stayed away from all drama and fights and all that stuff, because we went to a pretty rough middle school, but like I just stayed away from all the craziness because I had like a track in mind. But he reminded me so much of my dad. He was like just troubled with a good heart, and we had this special connection. And to be honest with you, I never thought he wouldn't be here and that didn't even factor into my mind at the time. So I don't want to act like I knew that he would not be here, but I'm just glad that God tapped me and pushed me to forgive him before he passed. So what had happened was we fell out over a misunderstanding, which I really think was God intervening. Basically, we had just like had this cute little, middle school thing. Your feelings are all over the place and your emotions are heightened. And we just were always there for each other, just always like hugging and very affectionate to each other. And basically, when the summer came, his phone had been broken for a while, but apparently he got a new phone. And when the summer came, he put his new number in my phone. And I did not see it. Like, he must have just snatched my phone off the table, put his number in, and didn't tell me. So I'm thinking that his phone is broken all summer. So I'm like 14, staring out the window, like, distance makes the heart grow fonder, and it's gonna be so beautiful when I go back. And let's just say he was not thinking the same thing. His heart did not grow fonder because he was very mad at me, very mad that I did not call him all summer, which I had no clue that his number was in my phone. So when I came back, he was just very defensive. And, he wasn't a bad person or anything, but you can just imagine where a 14-year-old or 15-year-old guy was when he feels like his pride is hurt, or, a girl doesn't want him anymore, which I very much did. But, and so I think a year later, God really pushed me and was like, you know what, reach out to him and tell him God loves you. And I was like, what? But I did it, and we ended up having like what you would call a closure talk. We ended up having one of those, and it was really nice just to get on a good page again. And ever since then, when we would see each other, we always spoke, and we always were just very, very friendly with each other. And I'm just gonna end the story there because I don't want to get emotional again. But being able to have that conversation with him was so important, and I think it helped me to handle his death a lot easier. But he was 20, and you don't get to pick when somebody's gonna leave this earth. That's only something that God can decide. So I think that the fact that we were able to have that conversation and just to forgive each other and just be very at peace with each other, it makes me more at peace with him now. And so there is no fault that's greater than death. Like, there's nothing that someone can do to you that is greater than the impact of their death. And so it may seem, and I'm really not trying to undermine anybody's, situation that may be coming to their head while they're watching this video, but it's just like, somebody not being here at all, it'll make you look at things differently. And, I just encourage anyone. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you to go call everybody in your phone and call all your exes and call your dad and your mom. I hope that at a time you can have those type of closure conversations. But I just want to encourage you because, y'all, you just don't get that back. You don't. And, yeah, so... Ooh, okay. Okay. I made it through that one. I didn't expect to make it through it, but the third time's a charm, and I made it through. So, speaking of closure conversations, I really wanted to share with you guys a conversation that I actually had with one of my exes. I called him up. I was like, listen, we gotta show these people what forgiveness looks like. And just to give you some context, this was not how our relationship always looked. As you are going to see from the clip, we talk very amicably with each other. We are very at peace with ourselves. We are not romantically connected, so don't speculate. It's not that video. This video is about forgiveness. So what you see between us is genuine forgiveness. And so I hope you guys enjoy it. And I think that this is the end of me talking. So, bye for now and enjoy this clip that I put in for you guys. So, hi, Nas. How are you?
I'm good. I got a lot of things going on, so school and football, but I recently just had surgery too on my knee. So
Really?
yeah, but everything's like that's healing good. But you know, I just got a lot of things on my plate, but everything else is good. I can't really complain about it.
Good, good. You always broken. Why you always broke? Like, oh
I'm
my,
not. It's once like every 4 years I get injured.
I just am so grateful that you agreed to do this. And, I just wanted to be natural. So let's just talk how we talked at Kenny House.
Uh-huh.
It's basically like, I don't know how that conversation even started.
Yeah, I don't.
It was great. Okay, so let me give context because I'm gonna put in a YouTube video, so don't laugh at my YouTube voice. But
No.
context is that we were at our mutual friend Kenny's house. We ended up having a conversation out of nowhere about how we really appreciated just each other's role in each other's lives and just being like really positive to each other. At that point, like 5 years had gone by. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
5 whole years. Like that was like so we were young, like young.
All right.
And so
So
yeah, go ahead. You go
so
next.
so should we talk about the roles we played?
Yeah.
So the role that I 100% believe that Rachel played in my life was like kind of like my savior, and that point in my life because my junior year, it was the start of junior year, it was in the summer, and I broke my wrist playing football. It's my first real injury. Like it was kind of tough dealing with my first injury, and like it was right before the season started, and I had to like miss some games and stuff. And I was a believer before. Like I went to church growing up. My father, my mom, and my grandparents and things like that. But like it was a long period of time, like where I never went again. So when I met Rachel, we was talking and things like that, and then she took me to church, and then like that was like the rebuild of like that was like when like my rebirth basically. That was when like my spirituality started to build back up. I
Yeah.
started to find myself again, and it's funny because like I'm injured now,
Yeah.
and reached out to me again, and that's kind of
Listen, every time you hurt, I'll be like, he's
yeah, it's crazy. But
yeah,
yeah,
no, thank you.
yeah, that was
That's the context. That's the backstory.
yep, that's the backstory.
Yeah. So when was the talk that we had? That was like last year. This COVID thing is like throwing my time off.
Yeah,
Was that
um,
20, like summer 2020?
yeah, summer 2020.
Okay, so basically we're talking and I won't give too much detail to what else was going on there, but we were just at a kickback and we were just like, he just said something and I was like, what? Like what happened? And you said something to Riley and you just said like, I could never be mad at her because of what she did for me. And I didn't know like that it had that much of an impact, but I thought that I was terrible to you because of how cold I was after like we stopped talking and stuff like that. And I was just like, he probably thinks I'm like the worst person, but
Yeah,
it really like helped me on the forgiveness like topic. It helped me that you look past all of the pettiness and the dumb stuff that happens after you stop talking to someone. It's just like the fact that you forgave me for any of that, it really helped me to be able to just like grow and listen to you like when you were talking to me. You
yeah,
made me feel like a better person. Did my forgiveness like from back way back when 5 years ago, did my forgiveness to you help you to be released from kind of what you what you felt like you did, or like how did that impact you when you realized that I had forgiven you for that?
I feel it made me feel like I can kind of put it behind me. So yeah, it did make me feel like I can move on. But
Yeah,
before I could even like try to reach out for forgiveness from you, I really
yeah,
had to find myself and like really, you know, like before you seek forgiveness or anything from anybody, you gotta find it in yourself. And
yeah,
like that, I think that's why it made me. That's why it caused me to say the things that I said. Like
yeah,
I realized that you really played the important role in my life. I wasn't gonna be able to forgive myself. I might
right,
have to forgive first, for whatever happened back then, before I could even ask for forgiveness from you.
right. Because I never wanted you to feel like you were a bad person. Okay, there's my thought. I found it. Basically, is that you were like 16. And I had to realize when I got older, now that I'm 20, and how old are you? Are you 20 or 21?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Okay, like we're now that we can have hindsight, I'm like, bro, he was 16. You was expecting him to be like a 23-year-old with his thinking, but it's like for real, like we was all just winging it. Like we was just like, oh, I guess I could be in a relationship. I guess I'm ready.
Right.
But like I had to realize like I was asking for something that I'm asking something of you, and you weren't even in a place where you knew yourself, and I wasn't in a place where I knew myself. I was
Mhm.
grieving at the time, and like it was just like young, like doing the whole like teenage love affair thing, like where it's just like, all right, I like him. We was like texting while I was on a trip, and it was just very
Yeah.
like, like the romantic story was there, but it's like just thinking about where somebody is when
Mhm.
you're talking to them, when you're in a relationship with them. It's important to give mercy to
Yep.
people and realize like, bro, he's a 16-year-old boy. Like, how is he supposed to like be responsible for himself and for your feelings and for all of that, and he's just getting to know himself.
Yeah.
So I think overall, like, it gave me so much perspective, and I never regretted anything. I was so grateful when I look back, because I'm just like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it helped me too. You talk about me being like a savior type, which I don't claim to be your savior at
Yeah.
all, but I know what you mean. It's just that you helped me a lot too, because I had lost my dad that year, and it was just like I just was looking for anything, like whoever
Yeah.
could bring me, like whoever could be there and bring comfort, and you did bring a lot of that like during that time and stuff. So you helped me a lot too, you helped me with mercy, and you helped me just by being there. Where do you think it would have been if we didn't forgive each other?
Are you saying like if we didn't talk after at Kenny's house?
Yeah, just or over all the years, like where do you think things would have been if we just said, you know what, I'm not gonna forgive him, I'm not gonna forgive her, whatever.
I feel like eventually it would have happened because like where I am now, like
Yeah.
I'm like like an honest person, and that's one thing I want to speak about, and like I want to let other people know about is honesty. Honesty is really like like the way to be free. If you can't like, because if you lie, even if it's like small, like you can't lie to protect people's feelings, because at the end of the day, it strips your character. Like the
Yeah.
small lie really strips your character, and like when you're free of lying and you're always honest, even if it's like there's a way to be honest and not be like disrespectful or brutal to someone. Like you just
Yeah.
got like if you lived like that, you really like it just makes life way easier. So like,
Yeah.
and plus we still have a bunch of mutual friends. We communicate here,
Yeah.
here. So like it definitely would have came up, but like
Yeah.
the the honesty is me being honest, and like I'm pretty sure you're an honest person as well. Us talking, we would have forgave each other. You probably forgave me already, and I
Yeah.
forgave you already. It's just like it just the communication. I meant
Right.
the confirmation wouldn't have been there if it just would
Right.
it came later on. It just wouldn't happen
Right.
then.
Yeah, like just actually saying it to each other is really important, because
Yeah.
recently I like lost somebody. Like I lost somebody that I used to talk to in middle school, and I
Mhm.
wasn't expecting it to hit me, but I was just grateful that I had forgiven him before he passed, because he was
Yeah.
our age, and it was
Yeah.
like you just never know like what people are going through and like what could happen. So I think that it was so like I'm just glad that I learned forgiveness young,
Mhm.
because during that time, like after I forgave you in that situation, it became something that I kept doing. Like it became a pattern where I didn't want to have these loose ends with any guys that I dealt with. And that
Yeah.
it really taught me like mercy, because it was like he was 16. If I can forgive Nas for this, he was 16 and this person wasn't spiritually mature, things like that. But I just, I'm really grateful that we did get to have that talk. I thought that was like amazing. And it did impact me a lot. Like I know I'm, stone cold with guys, but it really did like make me just feel better,
Mhm.
because I was just like a young hurt 15-year-old girl, just like he did this and da, da, da. But it's like now, like I think that freedom to be able to hear your ex's name and not be mad, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
just not having a reaction every time you see them or see a post. Like you could be happy for each other. And I think
Yeah.
like that's dope. And like I'm just grateful that we made it to that space, like that
Mhm.
nice space.
And that's another thing. Like you don't want to have those those loose ends anywhere.
Yeah.
Like even if it was like an old friend, like it's
Yeah.
not having them. They're not gonna just like I said, it's just gonna step away from your character. You see someone that gives you a negative reaction. Like
Yeah.
you don't want
And
to
it's
deal with
not even you. You don't want to feel like that. Like
that.
you don't want to feel hateful thoughts or just like, oh, like I want this to happen to you. Don't think like that, but it's all that unforgiveness just like weighing on
That
you.
that's all it is. It's unforgiveness.
Most of the time you forget what the real problem was, like what actually happened, because it's just not, it's not important. Like
Mm-hmm.
after years and years, it's just like, is you gonna let that come between you? Or yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we always had like a great bond. I'm just grateful that, you know, it's none of those bad feelings. We're both in a great spiritual place. Like I'm just grateful that you're doing good, like hearing about you, like just hearing you talk, like the maturity and just the growth is just
Yeah.
amazing. Like you know what I'm saying, like I'm like, who's this man? Like this is great. For
I
real.
think
Like for
yeah.
real.
I mean, I definitely had a little bit of help. You know, you gotta definitely stay in your word because like I give like a little bit of gems because you know I've been learning a lot of things. So
Yeah.
this off experience, you definitely want to listen to your head more than you listen to your heart
Hmm.
because your heart, of course, is like that's more of the emotion.
Right,
But like,
exactly.
and you know, they say knowledge is power, so
Hmm.
you want to always be in the word because the more you know of the Bible and of the word, is the more like logical you'll think, and then like it'll guide your heart in the right way. Like if you're not,
Exactly.
if you have the right things in your head, you're just
Yeah.
gonna go how you feel, and that's not always the right answer.
It's so true. Cause I know like during that time I was definitely listening to my heart, just like, you know, I am lonely, like I just lost my dad, I need to be with somebody. Like my thought process was I need comfort. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wasn't really thinking about like, no, maybe you need to like just be by yourself and like heal and stuff. I just was like, okay, he's cute. He got a nice smile. Let's go. Like, you know, and we were just gonna talk. But I just think that like nowadays, like I just have been taking time like away from relationships, learning how to heal. I told you I learned mercy like just from our situation. And like when you started coming to church, like that was so hard. I was like, this man is in my church, he at my school. Like it was definitely hard because I was upset like as a 15-year-old. Like I was just like, he did this, and this. And people were like, they loved you. And I was
Yeah.
mad. I was mad because I was like, but you don't even know. Like, but I had to realize you you can't like go about life like that, because I wouldn't have been getting the help I need at church if I'm
Yeah.
so focused on making everybody think you're a bad guy or something like that. Like it just taught me how to just like sit back, realize that that was my experience at that time, but there was a bigger picture. Like God wanted to meet you. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, he used me as the vessel, but he was like, all right, Rach, your job is done. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it from here.
Yeah. That's like that takes maturity though. So like,
Yeah,
if we wasn't like mature, we would have never saw the bigger picture. Like
right.
literally, still to this day, that is like meeting you and you bring me to the church is like really what brought me back into the my path with God. So
Yeah,
like people like if you didn't like mature, if anybody was like looking from the outside in or like a whole situation, they'll just be
right,
like, yo, that was out of pocket or like whatever.
right. Exactly. But it's just like God, I feel like really just he definitely intervened and he put me in a position
Yeah.
that was, yeah, you're gonna have to just take this, sit back, and just let me work with him. And it was nice seeing you like grow, like just over time and stuff. And I had my own healing that I needed to do, and I'm just grateful that both of us are like doing well. Like
Mhm.
we're just not bound by unforgiveness and just pettiness. You were the first person who popped in my mind when I thought about this video. I was like, I'm gonna get Nas because it's just like your energy and like your perspective on things. Like you can see the bigger picture too.
Yeah.
I always thought like this is like I always appreciated our bond, especially after like we talked, because I just felt like it was always just like a appreciation. Like he's
Yeah.
still a funny person, like he's still kind and just like stuff like that. And we could see that it's like, all right, we're not supposed to be together,
Mhm.
but we're growing as individuals and we can be happy for each other and be around each other without any weird feelings or anything like that.
And you saying everything like that I would say. So I agree 100%.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you did, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next week, keep it real.